gaming press may have slammed the more recent entries in the Silent Hill series, but judging by Silent Hill Homecoming's positive reception among the only people who are actually qualified to opine on video games, see also the gamers themselves, Homecoming was a much better game than, say, GameFailers.com or IGN would have you believe. As much as I liked Homecoming, however, it was apparently a bit of a disappointment. It must have been, considering its Japanese release was cancelled. Ouch! It's a bit like slamming your dick in a refrigerator door. To be fair, though, the series' Japanese sales had been slipping long before Homecoming ever happened, so expectations were pretty low when we all heard that the same folks who made Origins were working on a Wii-exclusive remake of the original Silent Hill. I've never been happier to be wrong in my life. This game is a pretty major departure from previous games, which at this point in the series is a very, very good thing. On the Wii, the motion controls for once don't feel like a tacked-on gimmick, as you actually use them to control the flashlight, lift the pin from door locks, and even listen to static emanating from the Wiimote to notify you of an enemy closing in on your position. The biggest change, however, is the complete removal of combat from the game. When I heard I wouldn't be able to defend myself in Silent Hill, I wondered if it would be the first Silent Hill game that consisted of staring at a game over screen for 30-plus hours, which isn't to say that the series is all about combat or anything, but combat resource management has at least always contributed to the game's feeling of tension. In a good Silent Hill game, every time you fire your pistol, you should get that sinking feeling that you're on your last mag.
Last mag.
That's all the bullets you got?
Yeah.
It's worked well for the series in the past, but Climax Studios manages to replace resource-derived tension with running for your fucking life from monsters flying at you from every direction, intent on latching themselves to your face, dry-humping furiously, and calling you Mary. The game manual repeatedly states that this game plays you as much as you play it, and for once, that claim turns out to be more than marketing jargon. Based upon how you answer psychological surveys during the course of the game, Silent Hill Shattered Memories will actually alter to better prey upon your fears and mental preoccupations, altering the physical appearance of supporting cast, locations, and even monsters who pursue you. For example, act as if you're obsessed with sex, and Officer Sybil Bennett will appear more voluptuous. It's a very unique approach that's basically an extension of the Silent Hill series' tendency to alter the game's ending based upon certain choices you make throughout. Like I said, this game is fantastic, the best Silent Hill game in years. My only issue with it is actually pretty major. The twist. It fundamentally changes the canon of Silent Hill, essentially wiping the slate clean and suggesting that Silent Hill 2 through 5 never actually happened. As much as I like you, Shattered Memories, that pissed me off plenty. What would have otherwise been a 5-star game drops down to 3.5 bloody rabbit heads. Don't give me a story twist that essentially means that everything I've done up to that point has been absolutely meaningless. Don't tell me some of my favorite games in the series never happened. Fuck you, Silent Hill Shattered Memories. You're fun and you're worth playing, but I'm really crossing my fingers and praying that Climax doesn't get away with his horse shit. Silent Hill the Motion Picture is probably the most faithful video game adaptation to date, which doesn't so much speak to the film's overall quality as it does to the pile of flopping severed dicks that video game adaptations have somehow managed to cram down their figurative gullets over the years. I have to say outright that I am not a horror movie fan at all. I can get into a cheesy splatter flick here and there, but by and large, I just rarely am engaged on any level by the stream of runny diarrhea calling itself horror or suspense pouring from Hollywood's gaping, swollen asshole. But I make an exception in Silent Hill's case, because it's not so much a horror film as it is a mix between sci-fi, horror, and just a dash of fantasy and art film thrown in due to director Christoph Gantz's formidable cinematographic sensibility. Silent Hill essentially follows the story of the first game with a few notable changes. Harry's abroad, Cheryl's named Sharon, and Sean Bean is running around learning shit that we already know by the end of the film, making his part nearly half as necessary as a hooker's brain. Oh, and also the Red Pyramid, the physical manifestation of James's guilt in Silent Hill 2, he shows up for no goddamn reason whatsoever. There's also some fairly major issues with the writing. I already mentioned Sean Bean's utterly pointless part. He's discovering things that we already learned by the end of the film, and his segments only serve to take a slow film from a snail's pace to fucking inert. There's also some truly cringeworthy dialogue here. It makes the American version of Resident Evil sound like Tennyson.
Damn it, Rose, what's going on?
Hey. It's gonna be okay.
They used to say this place was haunted. I think they were right.
Once again, we're locked in mortal battle.
But now is the end of days, and I am the Reaper.
Even fans of the film, like myself, readily admit that the writer isn't qualified to write comic books, let alone feature films, but here's where I break some rather terrible news to you all. The movie's writer-producer, a man by the name of Roger Avery, is not only writing the film's sequel, he's making his directorial debut on Silent Hill 2 as well. Why not just give the fans a root canal via their ass with a rusted garden implement while you're at it, Sony Pictures? So let me get this straight. Not only is Christoph Gans, whose visual style is probably the best part of the first film, not going to be returning, we're letting Silent Hill 2 turn into directorial amateur night? This guy couldn't write a coloring book, and you're going to let him produce, write, and fucking direct this thing? But I haven't even gotten to the worst bit, folks. When Silent Hill 2 was commissioned by Sony, an awful lot of fans got something of a tight crotch. After all, Silent Hill 2 is widely considered the magnum opus of the series, so a film adaptation would just be better than the first, or so we thought. Not a fucking chance. Because Silent Hill 2 is going to be an adaptation not of the second game, it's rumored to be based on the third game in the series, a rumor that's now all but confirmed with a statement made by Don Carmody, who's acting as Silent Hill 2's producer in November of 2009. To set the stage, let's talk about the deeply artistic work of Mr. Don Carmody. A quick once-over of his IMDb profile reveals that this guy is single-handedly responsible for virtually every cinematic travesty of the last decade. From Resident Evil Apocalypse to Beowulf to Gothica, this guy doesn't fuck around when it comes to fucking things up. And judging by what he said in the interview in question, he sees the Silent Hill film series taking a similar turn to his terrible Resident Evil films. And I quote, "I think we need to make it a little more accessible to the movie-going public," he says frankly. "Silent Hill is not a blockbuster game like Resident Evil or other games out there. It's a connoisseur's game. It has its own rabid fan base. They're not cheap, these things. You have to appeal not only to gamers, you have to appeal to a wider audience. So we have to get some story in there that helps explain a little bit more. I think that's all happening. Of course, the story is going to happen years later, and the main character, without giving too much away, is much older and representative to the movie-going public which is in that age group. If I can slice through the marketing bullshit, it sounds as if he's hinting that Alessa from Silent Hill 1 will have grown up into Heather from Silent Hill 3, and that the film will be marketed towards teenagers. But the further idea that the film needs to be more accessible just makes it sound like Silent Hill 2 could easily turn into a brain-dead teenage slasher flick featuring a chainsaw-wielding pyramid head. I think I speak for all of us when I say, do it right or cancel this shit. We got one good film out of it. I won't complain if we don't get a second, particularly if the second is going to be this god-fucking awful. As for the first movie, for me, it gets 4 Robbie the Rabbits, though that may climb as I've noticed that this film improves with repeated viewings. Well, that does it for my Silent Hill retrospective special. Just remember, Rageaholics, if you're driving past Silent Hill and some little skank darts out in front of your car, keep driving. The bitch has it coming. You'd assume that having been raised by an authoritarian religious sect, they might have at some point imparted the sacred knowledge of looking both ways before you cross the damn street. Shitheads. I'm Razörfist. God fucking speed.
Praise God for our clarity. Praise the innocent for their sacrifice. And our unity.
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back. I want my baby back, chilly, baby back, really back. I want my baby chilly, baby back, really.